So we're back with another match ramble, and today last match ramble we did was a match I just wanted to see. It wasn't really an all-timer, you know what I mean? So I thought, let's do the inverse and talk about an all-timer match that we have. You know, I don't think I've done one of those historic match rambles in a while, and today we're going to be talking about the most iconic triple threat of all time. We're going to be talking about AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels at TNA Unbreakable 2005. Now, full transparency, I have seen this match before. I have, and I don't think it's what's the word? I don't think it's stupid to say that this is considered one of the best matches of all time, and rightfully so. It is, especially for the era. Jesus Christ, especially for the era. Like, it's insane, and it's with a match like this, it's so hard to break down because the match is like 20 minutes, and it's pure just go. There's no low points in the match. It's go, go, go. And you're talking about three of the best wrestlers ever. Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Christopher Daniels. They're all three of the best wrestlers ever. Some people say AJ is their best ever. Some people say Samoa Joe is their best ever. And I want to talk about Christopher Daniels specifically in this match because I think Christopher Daniels is one of the most underrated wrestlers we've seen ever. I don't think he gets the credit and talked about enough as he should, just because he never really had that, WWE run, frankly. I think that's what helps AJ and Joe. But Joe's obviously a bit different, but Christopher Daniels is that level. He's fucking insane. And in this match specifically, when you hear people talk about Unbreakable 2005, very rarely you hear them talk about Christopher Daniels, at least from my knowledge. And I just don't get that. I think Christopher Daniels I think he absolutely kills it in this match. I think even at the start when the intro goes, it's mine, you two, you're never gonna get this belt, and then they both start attacking him, and then when Joe kicks him in the back, and then he goes, no, you gotta do it like this, and they both take turns. It's like Christopher Daniels is playing chicken shit, and I don't think it fully is. It's weird. It's such a good example of him. But then, Jesus, as the match just continues to just unravel, I mean, it is the phrase I'd use to describe this match in the best possible way is "don't forget about me." And it sounds wild, but that's what it feels like. It feels like, because again, all three of these people, they've all got history with each other. AJ and Joe have got a history. Joe and Christopher Daniels, Joe and AJ. All these people have got history. AJ and Christopher Daniels, and it's so wild, because these combinations all between, and they've got, a long history. So, apparently the story is that they never fucking rehearsed any for this. Bullshit, they definitely did. There's some shit on that they definitely did rehearse it. No way. And I just feel like, because it's that damn good, you know what I mean? That's how good the match is. You're watching it and you're like, no, there's no way, you know what I mean? But, what the match does is it has this triple threat element, but all three are so different. Christopher Daniels is very much the guy who's very much quicker, thinking-wise compared to AJ and Joe. Joe's the powerhouse. Whenever Joe has you in control, you are fucked. That's what they really like to portray in the match. And AJ's just AJ's the hero. AJ's the one who will just go the high-flying, obviously, the strikes. AJ's the aggressor, and that's what I really like. And what I think's really good about the match is you get all these combinations, so you feel like you're getting a bunch of mini matches in one match. And then at one point, the greatest example is when the constant one wrestler always gets forced outside. AJ gets forced out, and it's Christopher Daniels and Joe for a bit, and then AJ will come in with a spinal tap to break up a pin, and it's fucking nuts. The crowd are on another level. They know what they're seeing as one of the greatest matches in history. It's that level, and just as it continues to, again, it's just the moves that are pulled out. I mean, Joe's obviously, Joe's fucking, when Joe has them in the hold, it feels like Joe's the one who, in my opinion, is the one who's the most centered out of all of them in the match, where it's Joe is just, okay, you feel like Joe's going to be the control of the match, especially after a certain point. It definitely is. Christopher Daniels, to me, is the one who has the personality in the match, but AJ is the one who just makes, whenever AJ has a moment with, especially with his, a dive or whatever, you're like, oh, that's what gets the crowd off the feet. It's such a perfect blend of all performers. And I think it deserves all the praise it gets. It really does. It's an iconic match. It definitely is. And it's the thing is with a match like Unbreakable is it sometimes too iconic for its own good? And a lot of matches, in my opinion, suffer from that. I think there's very few matches that live up to that expectation and that hype. What a match like Unbreakable 2005 has. It really is true. Unbreakable 2005 lives up to it. Do I think it? I think Unbreakable 2005 as a match is more impactful than it is anything. I think the impact of this match is unrivaled. I do. I don't think it's the best triple threat between bell to bell work. I don't. I'm going to make this video separate on what I actually think that is, at least from what I've watched. But this is, at the time, I mean, you've got to take into account the time. The wrestling you get today, the likes of Will Ospreay specifically, who's such a, iconic big name wrestler, one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world, the points, especially in 2024, is you don't get him and that style without Unbreakable 2005. You just don't. And God, TNA, like everyone talks about TNA and specifically AJ and TNA like he's a myth. And don't get me wrong, he's fucking brilliant. And you don't get that without Unbreakable 2005. You don't get a lot of the stuff you think in modern wrestling that you just kind of take for granted and you think about it, especially like, the status of all three of these performers, specifically AJ and Joe. And just in general, like triple threats being this chaotic and this fun. You don't get it without this match. You don't. And I love how it's formatted. Again, they say it was unscripted. It fucking was. Like, there's a point where Christopher Daniels, so AJ and Joe are going at it for a good bit. Bro, when Christopher Daniels lifts Joe up and then AJ lifts Joe up, it's fucking nuts because obviously the weight on Joe's so much. 200 odd pounds, they say. And, that's treated as a big moment, as it should be. Like, even the point where Joe's throwing them, and then when Joe uses his weight, that's when he's got the upper hand by a mile, and they really play into that. Like, he throws the both of them into a turnbuckle, then squashes them both. The bit where Joe does a dive is phenomenal. And again, same with AJ, where, like, they both force each other. So, like, it's very similar spots, but they're forced out, and then AJ and Joe will both do, either in each spot, will do a dive. And again, that really encompasses, don't forget about him, because, like, again, these are all three elite performers. This is for the X-Division title. It's like, oh, fuck, don't forget about him. Don't forget about this shit. A lot of breaking pins. The kickouts are brilliant, because the kickouts aren't strong. The kickouts aren't like these, in normal wrestling now, you modern day wrestling, you get kickouts that are like, ugh, and then it works down, it's like, ugh, barely a kickout, just a lift up, you know what I mean? Or like instinct. And like, you don't get that with this match. All the kickouts, at least from my recollection, very few kickouts, a lot of break-up pins, but all the kickouts are very light. They're all like, oof. Like AJ does that, like one Joe does on AJ, and he's like, ugh. Obviously Joe does, Joe and Christopher Daniels. Joe's speed in this match is the fastest I've seen Joe, and a big Samoa Joe guy, so that's like, I don't want to say that's saying something, but you know what I mean. Like Joe does obviously his belly backdrop, which is great, he jumps on you. There's no nope. I was fucking livid there was no nope. But and then again, like the finish is superb. So at this point, Joe's being forced out. Christopher Daniels has forced Joe out. A lot of times you do forget how they get out. Like this, I think a lot of times it's like, first one, Christopher Daniels just throws AJ. Like AJ runs at Christopher Daniels and Christopher Daniels just throws him, and AJ's just going flying in the back. It's brilliant. And then this one, Joe runs at him, and then obviously Christopher Daniels pulls the rope down. Joe goes flying over, and he's out for the rest of the match at this point. And then Christopher Daniels, he goes for the Angel's Wings, I think it's called. And then basically that's like a belly to, I don't know what to describe I was gonna say belly to back. It's not a belly to back, but it's like an I don't know what to describe the Angel's Wings. And AJ reverses it into like a backslide move where like Christopher Daniels has AJ on his back, then AJ manages to reverse it by standing up on his head and then forces Daniels on back for a slide pin. And that's how it's won, which is an insane way for that match to end, by the way. And I respect the balls of it. Christopher Daniels sells it absolutely perfectly. Christopher Daniels is like, he's in disbelief. And he's like, and he starts basically breaking down. Samoa Joe's on the back, outside the ring. He doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on. So he just looks at him and he's pissed. AJ's crying, he's fucking made up. And overall, the match is just etched in history for the legacy it has, and so it should. The styles clashes, the lifts, everything about this match. You know what it is? Every single thing in this match is impressive. All of it feels impressive, and that's what I really like. Like, even the bit where, like, again, I don't believe the match is unscripted because there's a point where Christopher Daniels comes in with the belt to try and attack them because obviously triple threats, there's no DQs. And he goes for the belt, and he goes to hit Joe with it, and Joe clocks him with it, and Joe's like, whoa, 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 and takes the belt off him. The ref's trying to take it off him. And then when he holds it, I think it was Christopher Daniels goes to kick Joe, but Joe has the belt there. And, like, there's no way that's unscripted where Joe has the belt and then Christopher Daniels kicks it and hits him in the face with the belt. There's no way that's unscripted. No way. Like, don't get me wrong, I do believe they went off the cuff of a bit, but the way it's talked about, like, oh, nothing was planned, bullshit, it definitely was. But it doesn't take anything away from the match. Jesus Christ, no. Do I think it's... I'm not seeing as much Christopher Daniels as I have compared to AJ and Joe. I don't even think it's their best match. That's what's wild. I don't think it's AJ's best match than what I've seen. And I definitely don't think it's Samoa Joe's best match I've ever seen. Ironically enough, I think Samoa Joe's best match is the same fucking year, which is nuts. I just feel like overall, as a wrestling match, as the impact of everything it's done for the business, it's hard not to praise it. And deservedly so. I think a lot of hype and a lot of talk. If you're new into getting wrestling, or you're researching the history of wrestling, Unbreakable 2005 comes up. It's undoubtable. It has to come up, and it deserves it. It deserves its place. If you go in expecting like a fucking all-timer in-ring match, you're gonna get it too. That's what's great. And a lot of times you're like, okay, I'll go watch this match, and you don't get that. No, you get that with this. You do, and you may not think, oh my God, this is the best match you've ever seen. Because I don't think it's the best match I've ever seen. No, I don't think it's the best triple threat. But I think it's so fucking good. And it's it's the modern day blueprint of most multi-man wrestling matches. And it is. And you cannot understate that enough. I think overall, as a match, it's a lot of people's favourites. Everything about it screams an era of wrestling that, like, is so far gone, but this match is so ahead of its time that even back then it's adored, and even now it holds up as a modern classic. It's phenomenal, ironically. The crowd, the 6 sides, we want 6 sides, I fucking love that. All of it, just everything about it, just the aesthetic, everything, the in-ring work specifically, obviously. It's a 10 out of 10, it really is, and I don't like giving so... I don't want to say I don't like giving so much praise. All I do is praise, I feel. But, like, this match deserves it. If somehow you've never seen it, I don't know how. You need to watch it. It's on YouTube for free. It's worth your time. It's an all-timer. And it really solidifies the legacies of all these men. And I think specifically with Christopher Daniels, I hope people start giving him the conversation he deserves, because I think the first half of this match, I think he steals the show. I think all of them do phenomenal, but I think you're watching it going, Christopher Daniels, like, oh God, you're, like, incredible. And, like, to me, he's the one where you're like, oh no, he's stealing it for me. Then Joe takes over, and then obviously AJ. But, like, it's all split between them. No one gets overshadowed. And that's such an important aspect for all three of these performers in a match like this. For no one to get overshadowed at all is insane. And it's an all-time. It doesn't. My rambling dumbass words can never do this match justice. If you've never seen it, I don't know how. Watch it, for the love of God, watch it. And yeah, it's the grandfather of all modern day wrestling, multi-mans. Nothing else to say. It is an all-timer. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Unbreakable 2005's triple threat for the X-Division title. Let me know what you think of the match. Obviously, I assume a lot of people got a lot of thoughts on this match. It is a classic for a reason. What's your opinion on all three of the wrestlers and just in general? This is just, it's a classic for a goddamn reason. What a match.